What is up, people of the internet? We are officially on to episode 2 of whatever the fuck this is. So, may as well just roll right into it. So, movie that I watched last night was The Lorax. A quite controversial movie. Some people really enjoy it, some people hate it. And we're gonna dive into it right here. Alright, so basically the premise of this movie is this dude right here, Onceler, who is chopping down the trees in a magical forest. Um, uh, Basically the premise of this whole thing is deforestation, and they approach the issue in an interesting way. And I think that the way that they approach and follow through with the issue of deforestation is where the controversy comes into play. So this right here, this is the Lorax, and he is standing over the tree that Onceler has cut down. And the Lorax is a magical little guy, and he doesn't really have any power. His power, if I could say that, is that he speaks for the trees, and he can't do anything besides try to convince Onceler to not chop them down, because he is attempting to get Onceler to realize that he should not be doing this, because he should not be destroying the forest, and he should not be forcing the animals of the forest to leave. So eventually, as the movie progresses, Onceler gets greedy and he chops down every single tree in the forest. He forces all the animals to leave, and um, the Lorax is extremely disappointed in him and leaves the area with his magical powers. And Onceler is left with a singular seed of a tree, and he's no longer able to make any money because he has destroyed the entire forest, and he was making money off of the top of the trees. Um, and so he has not only destroyed the forest and the environment, but he has ruined his livelihood in the process because he was too focused on monetary gain. So fast forward a while, Onceler has now begun to um, live by himself in the disarray that he left, in the lack of trees, and basically, in order to live, you have to pay for air because the air quality is so bad without trees. And so these are two people that live in Thneedville, which is the town that is basically a dystopia that is hidden behind the walls. That's hidden inside of large walls that prevent the people of the town from seeing the outside world and from seeing the fact that it has been destroyed and they are just polluting the world outside. And as you can see, the little boy here is that's Ted. He is holding the last Truffula seed, and he was tasked by Onceler with planting it in the center of town and getting people to realize that trees are important and they need to save the environment. And this right here was probably, yeah, this is a very funny part in the movie. But basically the um, environment is just in such disarray that the child is literally glowing from pollution. Um, but they end the movie by singing a funny song, and then they plant the tree, and the movie ends by the trees beginning to grow out of the ground once again. And so this is where the controversy comes into play. So if you have read the book The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, the movie does not do the book justice at all. So the whole premise of the book was to illustrate the that deforestation is a terrible thing, and that we need to stop deforesting now because there's no real turning back. And it does so with the use of rhymes as all Dr. Seuss books do, and funny characters and funny pictures. But the movie, on the contrary, is very uplifting, and the book is much more morbid. And if you're looking at it from the perspective of a child, the movie's a great kids movie. But if you are looking at it in comparison to the book, the movie is a poor representation of what Dr. Seuss intended his audience to see. And so it displayed that even though the entire world has been destroyed with a singular seed, you can bring it back to life, but that's not reality. So I think that the movie would have been a lot better if, rather than showing how great the world is and how they're recovering at the end of it and everyone's happy, it would have been much better if they just ended it with the planting of the seed and just let you on a bit of a cliffhanger. But the fact that they had to um, end it with that more or less silly ending and having the trees planted and then everything growing and the Lorax coming back from the sky, um, that was a bit silly, and it really ruined the message that Dr. Seuss was trying to convey, and it spoiled the movie a little bit. So with that in mind, the movie was very cute. It was definitely a great movie, but they could have ended it a lot better. And so, because of that, I am going to give it 65 Milesmatoes. It's not deserving of a terrible grade, but it's also not deserving of a great grade. It's just a little bit above average. So, yeah, um, that's my opinion on the Lorax.